This time, it's different.
With Peter and Chris.
This time, it's different.
Bruce Vilanch, an Emmy Award-winning comedy writer best known for the television show Hollywood Squares. We were handed the opportunity to interview him. But if this time the podcast was different, because we were going to interview a famous American comedian, well, it needed to be good. It needed to be hard-hitting. We needed to ask the sort of questions no one's ever asked Bruce Vilanch, or even anyone at all. What would that kind of question even be? What if we asked Bruce Vilanch if he'd seen a ghost? If he had seen a ghost, well, surely he'd tell a hilarious tale about that encounter. Our interview would be shared around the world, elevating our tiny Canadian podcast to the level of some Barbara Walters interview or another person that interviews very well. But was it too deep a question?
Whoa. Yeah. That's heavy, dude. That's heavy. That's a heavy question, dude.
Yeah. I couldn't figure it out. Was he even a night person? If he was a night person, then surely he would be up at night when ghosts are up, leading him to absolutely see one. But if he was a day person, then we had nothing.
I'm not getting anything on Wikipedia. See, like, okay, YouTube.
Type in Bruce Google. Vilanch. Type in Bruce Vilanch.
Yeah.
Night or day.
No, I did do that. Night or
you
day. Yeah.
He's a comedy writer. Probably he's a nighttime person, but he's also like a theater guy.
Yeah.
He's also a film and TV guy.
He's in TV, so he'd be up early a lot. Google just says, did you mean to search for anything else?
We decided to take that question straight to the source.
Hi, can I get this, I'm going to just get this USB drive, thumb drive thing, and I was also wondering if you thought Bruce Vilanch was a night person or a day person? We thought we would just check here.
Oh, yeah, no idea. We sell electronics here, not answers to weird questions.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, sir.
It's no problem. Have a good day. Don't forget your thumb drive.
And we were forced to take that question to the man himself. We, of course, couldn't begin with that question. We would need to conduct an entire interview until his guard was down enough to ask, Bruce Vilanch, have you ever seen a ghost?
Okay, I've organized my hair.
Organize my hair. Peter, did you want to organize
Okay, well,
your hair?
come on, guys.
Oh, a little burn right off
one
the
little
top.
strand over your forehead looking like a pituitary gland. That got...
Oh, look at that, yeah.
Oh, you're talking to Chris. Yeah, I actually checked my forehead, and I was like, wow.
It's like this.
Bruce, you're having a good time?
Oh,
no,
you can't see my hands.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, that's why you wanted to be on this podcast, because of how handsome I am.
That's right. You got it.
Okay, first of all, I think we just need to see that shirt. I'm seeing the top of it right now, and I just want to get a quick... There we are. That's the shirt.
Golden showers. Now, that's one of your trademarks. Is your shirts? When did that start for you?
What's with the shirts?
And do you have...
It started in childhood because I had I was a fat kid and I had a very fastidious mother, and I always had to look just so, and she made me dress up all the time, and I hated it. And the moment I got free, I ripped off all the ties and all the tight collars, and I just started dressing as casually as possible. But I was totally in step because it was the hippie period, and everybody was running around in caftans and bell bottoms and T-shirts and ripped things. Everything was distressed. And then I moved to L.A., and I discovered in L.A. you can go to the best restaurant in town wearing a nightgown. So, well, I never tried that myself. I've been with people who have. And I had this look. I was in Chicago before that, and I used to wear a T-shirt with a shirt over it, so you could get the joke. And then I called it the layered look. I'd recently been layered, and I went to LA and I discovered I didn't even have to have a pretense of a shirt. became, became my signature. And when I went on Hollywood Squares, it became a thing on Hollywood.
Right.
The glasses and the T-shirt. The
So it
glasses.
wasn't always a. Do you remember the first joke T-shirt that you wore? Do you remember what it was?
Oh my God, I don't. Wow, that's a very good question.
I was asking very good questions. The interview was already going very well.
It may have been, and this is not so brilliant, but it may have been the witch from The Wizard of Oz spelling out "Surrender, Dorothy."
Okay, yeah.
Across, I mean, it was just a gay thing, and there was a store in West Hollywood, where else, called Surrender, Dorothy, and it was their T-shirt.
Right.
But it could have been early. I mean, I've been doing it for, this is, we're talking like 50 years of T-shirts. 50!
What do you still have them all? Like, do you have to do a purge
Yeah,
every
can you
so
give us a
many
tour
years?
of your shirt closet?
Oh no, this is too much technical shit for me. I can sit here and talk, but
Oh, you're doing great.
move?
Yeah.
All progress was immediately thwarted by Peter's request for him to pick up his laptop and tour it around his house. We had work to do.
What do you think I am, millennial?
Pick my laptop up. Tour it around my house? No.
Going around my house, get bitch. No, I have about, it must be about 5,000 of them in there.
5,000. Wow.
Yeah, a lovely. Well, it's been years. It's a lovely storage facility out in the valley. I have an assistant who occasionally will say, "Time for a call," and she'll run out to the valley and she will start. Now that we can do it on the phone, she'll start sending me, pictures. You want this one? You want this one? You want this one? Yeah, they're basically the ones that are in storage are the ones that were like very funny at the time that mean nothing now.
Right.
That I could probably get rid of. And we tried eBay, we tried a lot of stuff, but it's just basically, it's just, can you give them away? I mean, I actually have a story about one of them. In that light, a friend of mine, some years ago, turned 40, and he was a rock and roll manager. He managed Matchbox 20 and people like that.
No way.
He had a lot of money, and his wife, they had a huge house in Beverly Hills, and his wife created this gigantic thing with clowns and serving stations and the work. And everybody got a gift bag as they left. In the gift bag was a T-shirt that says, "Oy vey mir, Michael has turned 40." And I kept it, I mean, it went on a pile of T-shirts. No place I could wear it. And the assistant was going through doing the cull, and she said, "Do you want this?" And I said, "Oh, no, just toss it." I said, "What are you going to do with it?" She said, "Well, these are going to Goodwill." So she sent out a whole bunch of T-shirts to Goodwill. 6 months later, middle of the night, I'm watching, I'm surfing. And here comes Sally Struthers. And she's in Africa. And she is making a pitch to feed the children of the Wambasi tribe. "These they haven't eaten in 14 days. You have to write a check now." And she's got a bunch of children of the Wambasi tribe standing around her, one of whom is wearing a T-shirt that says, "Oy vey mir, Michael has turned 40." And I thought, the odds that is any other T-shirt than my T-shirt that went to Goodwill are so slim. So I called Sally and I said, "That kid's wearing my T-shirt." "I was wondering where that shirt came from. It didn't look African to me." I said, she's on her game.
There it was, a glimmer of hope. The world was small, and if Bruce Vilanch was no stranger to strange coincidence, maybe, just maybe, this applied to ghosts.
You may find one as you're as you're stomping through the gas lamp or whatever they call that in Vancouver.
Yeah.
What
do they call it?
That's
Gas
what
town,
I'm
right?
That's what I'm calling it now. I'm calling it gas
prisoner of the British properties while doing a movie there. So.
Yeah.
As
you
by
said,
bet I learned Vancouver. I love Vancouver.
Well, I'm glad you said that. That makes me
I
feel
moved
wonderful.
away from there.
Chris,
I think
move
it's
back.
beautiful,
Moved
but
away?
I chose
Move
a
back.
different path.
Really?
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
Yeah, even
What?
Bublé. We still have Bublé, Chris.
I've worked with Bublé, and for Michael, that was the big city, because they were like crab fishermen, his people. And he grew up on a boat. It's all very exotic. And now he married this Brazilian beauty, and
What was it that you worked with Michael Bublé on?
His act when he first
Oh.
when it first happened, he
Mhm.
did his stage act.
Right. Did you
I
write
was
jokes
actually-
for
yeah, I was
Bublé?
called
Yeah.
in by he was my old friend Liz Rosenberg, who was Madonna. She was the Madonna person, and she made so much money with Madonna that they made her a vice president of Warner Brothers. And so any new Warner act that came in, she was in charge of molding. And so she kind of found him, and when he started out, and he had this, he had the one song "Home," which was a big hit, and then he had everything else he did was like Sinatra, Tony Bennett stuff.
My enthusiasm for Michael Bublé came through far too much in the moment. I didn't even like his single Home that much. Why did I make it seem that way? I was losing myself, and potentially the interview.
Right.
Because that's what he likes, and of course he's good at it. So we put an act together, to make him somebody who sings old standards, but is very new. Now, I wouldn't say cutting edge, but
Well, it's coming up to time in the year Michael Bublé time is December. I have a Michael Bublé album. You just toss that Christmas album on, and that's my yearly dose of him.
Christmas specials. I don't think there is. I don't know if there is one this year. I haven't done them in a few years, but I did one or two of them.
The important question to ask is, and you spill the beans, as much beans as you want to spill, but what is he like to work with as a person?
Oh, he's adorable.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. Listen, I mean, he now has it has such a deeper dimension because he was ill and his child was ill, and he's gone through a lot of stuff. But he's a good guy and a real family guy. I mean, he's never the family is a part of his whole thing. And
having known Peter for many years, I knew his unquenchable thirst for spilled beans was a risk. But now we were way off track.
He's very smart and balanced.
Right. Was that enough beans for you, Peter?
I wanted more beans. I wanted some more drama, maybe, but I think it is what it is,
I know what you mean because I mean he sings romantic stuff and he's lighthearted and all of that, and he's not Judy Garland, who was singing romantic stuff but was torn apart from the inside. There are two kinds of performers,
right.
They're the ones who is what they do, and there are the others for this is who I am, and I'm.
It's desperate. Okay, here I've got a question for you right off the bat, which
right
is
off the bat.
Right off the bat. We're just gonna get started now.
Okay, 16 minutes in. Yeah.
He plays for the Montreal Expo.
Yeah.
No, my question is, you were saying about how you started wearing the joke shirts on Celebrity Squares.
Hollywood Squares.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
which was kind of a celebrity squares. You're not wrong.
I think it was called that in England. I think they called it.
That's probably why I said that.
There you go.
My mom is British, so that's why that covers my mistake. No, but here's my question, Bruce, which is you're on Hollywood Squares. And now you are on the tiniest Canadian podcast that was possible to find. So my question, Bruce, is are you okay? Is everything okay over there?
Oh, the mighty have fallen. No, it's I'm Quarantina Turner. I'm sitting here with no pants, writing jokes. There's no place to perform. I go out and I do my one-man show. So these podcasts come along, and I think this is fun. And the truth be told, I'm writing a book, and telling these stories brings things up. Lunch, and then after that, it brings up things I've forgotten about that I could put in.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's actually, for me, it's kind of like an archaeological exercise.
Yeah, you're just sort of digging through your brain and finding new things.
But a lot of these podcasts are people who are they're trapped in their mother's basement forever, and they finally figured out something to do, and they're not nearly as pulled together as you guys are.
Well, we're still trapped in some basements.
Yeah, and I'm on the second floor of a house, but I'm living with 5 roommates, so it's a situation like that still.
As is the Canadian way, we quickly diverted his compliment to talk about his American success.
So you've written for basically so many people, and you wrote for the Oscars for many, many years. It seems that you Did you stop doing that in 2014? It seems. Was there a reason? Did you just
18,
have enough?
I think well, the last credited one I did was 18. I think
Was 18? Yep.
The legendary James Franco Anne Hathaway show.
Oh, that year, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then everything changed at the Academy after that. The guy running the Academy died. The guy who produced 17 of the shows died, and the guy running the Academy quit. And they younged everything up, and I kind of got aged out.
Oh.
And yes, and partially, but I continued writing it, but I just wasn't getting a credit for it. I continued writing for different people on the show because they would bring people in to write who had no idea what the show was about. Generally, most of the hosts were people who had television shows, and
Right.
they would bring their staff over for a little double dipping, and the staff would while they were writing Jimmy Kimmel Live would write whatever it was, would write the Oscar show, and a lot of them had never done anything like that before, and they were used to writing for their guy, even if it was Ellen, their guy, and so they needed to. There was no money left. They needed to bring other people in who knew what they were doing. There was no money, and so people would kind of work for their friends.
Right.
Oh.
Did you find it difficult ever, like, so you've written for like Robin Williams and many different people, do you find it hard to either adapt to their voice or be like, that's a good joke, I'm gonna hold that one for me, I don't need to give that away?
Well, it depends on how desperate I am, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't perform that much that happens, and most of the stuff that I write is very site specific. It's for a particular thing at a particular time, and probably it won't. If it echoes through the corridors of time, it's only because it hit on a nerve. Most of the time, it's just stuff that the next day doesn't mean as much as it did on the day you did it. But everything needs to be tailored.
Right.
Generally, it's all about understanding who they are and what's comfortable on them and tailoring it to them. And I have a facility for that. I'm very lucky that way. I always say, in deference to playwrights and screenwriters who only do that, and novelists, it's they have to create all of that. I am handed a personality and said, write for this personality.
Oh.
The problem is when you're handed somebody who has no personality, who is an actor, Johnny Depp,
Right.
who is an actor, and there's no Johnny Depp character. And he realized that after a few outings where he had to do things, and he began creating a Johnny Depp character for himself. The guy who was
Right.
A man, smoking man who lives in France, little mustache. Yes.
And so, but I mean, some people like Keanu Reeves has never, come up, and we had a tragic episode where he very, very willingly inhabited the Bill and Ted character for an award show, and it's just a hideous bomb.
Oh,
and,
no.
And I take full responsibility for it. And he didn't really give a rat's ass, but
Right.
that's why you don't see Keanu Reeves at Carnegie Hall.
Most of the Oscar jokes, I imagine, are in the realm of roast humor about celebrities.
There's some of that. I mean,
yeah.
there's good one. Yeah. I mean, you can't be too mean. You can't be Ricky Gervais. I mean, not on the Oscars. I mean, on the Golden Globes where everybody's drunk and no one gives a shit. But on the Oscars where actual careers are on the line. And
was there a joke that you wrote that maybe it was too much? Like you see Ricky Gervais going too far?
Oh, we had.
Yeah.
This goes way back, but it was when Billy Crystal was hosting the show, and there was Richard Gere was supposed to present, was presenting on the show, and there was a movie out that it was the year of the Richard Gere gerbil rumor.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And there was a movie out that year called An American Tale, which was an animated thing about a mouse.
Yeah, the mouse, Fievel. Yeah.
Right. And
I cried to that movie.
The joke Billy was going to do was Richard Gere was going to present tonight with Fievel, but Fievel backed out.
No.
And he was about, and when you're at the Oscars, there are like 14 cameras roaming around. And when you're sitting there and the camera comes up to you in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're not in the next category, they're going to do a joke about you. Because that's the only reason why they're going to you. They're
so it's
going
like, get ready
to something.
I see.
And they've chosen you at that because there's something that they know you're going to want to react to. And so the camera came up the aisle to Richard, and we were backstage, and Billy was saying, Richard's going to have a heart attack. Look at that. And color had drained from his face because he knew there was about to be a joke. He knew what it was going to be, probably.
Oh, no.
So Billy said, I can't do it. And we didn't do it. He didn't do it.
We were no saints when it came to roast comedy. There was maybe some dirt about us that should be shared.
Peter and I dipped a toe into hosting a theater award show. When we did theater school, we went to theater school together. That's how we know each other. But we were, I think about it often because we were giving away like best performance, best actor performance, best comedic performance. And we did a roast, and we gave away best comedic performance to this director as a director. So it was like, the best comedic performance of the year was this man directing this play.
And direct. That's very funny.
And boy, he felt so bad. He came up to us after, that wasn't a very funny joke. And I think that was the only time, or the first time I felt I don't want to do comedy that like,
I know,
like
punches
comedy
in any direction.
You realize that you were wrong, that you were caught. You know.
Yeah. And I think about it all the time. He doesn't follow me on Facebook anymore, so you know that it was serious, you know? So
speaking of offending people, did you do something to Trey Parker or Matt Stone? Did you piss off the South Park guys or something?
No, well, they use me. I'm the coon, right? Got 3 shout outs to me. One was like the kid dressed up as the Incredible Hulk for Halloween.
Halloween costume.
No, I don't know. They just, I mean, I've met them. I met them once with Mark Shaman, who their collaborator on Blame Canada and Shut Your Fucking Face, Mother, Uncle Fucker.
Uncle Fucker, yeah.
And they were nominated, and they all came, and Trey came in drag, and they dressed Mark up as a Mac Daddy pimp.
And were they on acid or something at that one when they were wearing dresses?
I don't know. Mark, I'm sure, was not, but they may have been. I don't know. But and actually, that's when I met them. That was the Oscar show. Actually, Blame Canada was nominated, and Robin did the number, and we got the notes from the ABC censor about all the things we had to cut. You can't call Anne Murray a bitch. All these. I framed the memo. It was too. And that's when I've actually met them before, because I had to call them to kind of negotiate with them about what they would lose and what they would keep. They were great, actually. Yeah, when you're out there, you're a figure of fun. I mean, I make fun of people make fun of me. So I have a list of all these people who've done me on SNL. It's very flattering.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Every fat guy on SNL has done me.
Okay. Who did it the best?
Yeah, who's the best Bruce?
What a very good question.
I was nailing it again, only to be undermined immediately by Peter's cough.
Horatio Sands was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell was funny, and actually the strangest one of them all was David Cross.
David Cross did a Bruce Vilanch?
The MTV Awards, yes.
Okay.
The MTV Awards. And then there were the people who I get mistaken for all the time, like Michael Moore.
Yeah.
Who, people think I'm Michael Moore, and people think I'm Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
She mentioned me in her book. She said what she looks like when she gets up in the morning. She said, I look like Bruce Vilanch. I said, and if you don't know who Bruce Vilanch is, picture a barn owl with red glasses. So ever since then, I introduced myself as, hello, I'm Amy Schumer.
Do you have any, maybe, I don't know why I'm taking the role of like the guy looking for the drama, but I just feel like it today. So I'm wondering, like, he's giving me the eyes. Do you have?
I know why, but
looking for the dirt.
Oh, I want to know why. I want to be psychoanalyzed, but I want to know also, do you have any nemesis? Do you have any people in Hollywood that are like, oh no?
He was fiending. When would he have had enough spilled beans to be satiated? I worried that we would never get to the ultimate question of ghostly encounters.
I'm sure I do. I don't know who they are. I mean, it's like years ago when I mean, it's when I was drafted, which happened here during Vietnam, and I checked the box that said I was a practicing homosexual, and they said, "Are you a practicing homosexual?" And I said, "No, I've got it down." They said, "Well, this will go on your record, and employers will see this." And I thought, I don't want to work for anybody who wouldn't want me to be there because I'm a homosexual.
Yep.
And it's worked out.
Yeah, you're like, oh, perfect.
I'm sure that there are, I'm sure there are people who, who diss me all over the place, but what am I going to do?
So your first great nemesis was the U.S. government.
Everyone.
Yes.
The funny part of all of that was so many guys were looking for a way out, because if you had a student deferment and it was up, and they drafted you, and you would try anything to get out of it, because they knew you were going to be shipped over to Vietnam. So a lot of guys checked the box. And when you checked the box, they took you into a side room, and the shrink came in and started asking you the most embarrassing, vile questions.
No way.
To see if you were really gay. They were all about sex. They were all sex practices and this and that, and the straight guys, of course, would freak, because that the gay guys would say, "Yeah, right, I've done that," and also I did that. Yeah, but if you do it
just add on to it,
standing on your head, it's even better. And if he holds it right over your crack, it's amazing. And so they of course, if you were a straight guy with a great imagination, you could pass the test. Yeah. But I didn't have that particular caveat. I was
right. Now, you went to theater school as well, I'm seeing here.
Yeah. The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University for theater and journalism.
That's
now,
correct.
Because we're still trying to figure it out, because we went to theater school too. And
it didn't work for us.
Been able to successfully launch into seems that you went from theater school to meeting Bette Midler and writing for her. So what is that chunk in the middle?
I had an arts degree from Ohio State, but my majors were theater and journalism. So I was always writing. I was the editor of the Ohio State Lantern, circulation 50,000, and I was doing shows. I was always doing both, but I wasn't getting. When I would go up for things, like I'd go back to New York, because I'm from New Jersey, I'd go back to New York and audition for things, and I wasn't getting cast because I was too young for what I was up for, and so I always wanted to have the writing career going at the same time, and so I took a job at the Chicago Tribune after journalism school, and with my theater degree also, and I kept working as an actor in Chicago and writing, and that's where I met Bette Midler. She was doing a nightclub act. She was on Broadway in Fiddler on the Roof as the oldest daughter. And she, on her vacation, she would take time off and she would go out and do this act. She didn't act every night in New York at midnight, but then she got a gig in Chicago. And I went to see her because a friend of mine owned the club. And I went to see her and wrote about her. And
you reviewed.
What I wrote.
I see, yeah.
And she said, that was funny. And I said, well, you're funny. You should talk more. And she said, you got any lines? And she meant jokes, not lines. So I started writing for her, and that was 50 years ago. And she's only 38, so it's,
Of course, yes. She's remained 38.
I like that story is kind of what we are also always told, which is be ready when you get an opportunity. So have a pitch ready, have some stuff ready, because at some point somebody's gonna be like, you got any lines? You got something? And you need to be ready with the thing.
And, the definition of luck is talent meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Or actually, it's preparation meets opportunity.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Talent
See,
really
we're not
is not even required for a lot of it.
Right.
Preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah, we have to do the preparation part, Peter. That's what where we're lacking.
I think we need to do the preparation part. I also need to work on the talent part. But other than that, then all we need is opportunity.
After some unhealthy amounts of Canadian self-deprecation, we managed to crawl out from under our own self-doubt and find a common language: jokes.
My mother's had a great joke. When towards the end, she said, "You know, the first 90 years are easy. The second 90 are a bitch."
You can't make him through them.
Yeah.
Really, she quit at 95, so that was what.
That works.
That was her point.
This is my favorite, my favorite street joke. Maybe it's my favorite, or it's the one that I remember.
Right.
It goes like this: knock knock.
Who's there?
To.
To who?
Oh, it's to whom.
Very good.
That's it.
That's it. I'll tell you, here's a musical comedy version of that.
Yeah.
Ira Gershwin, who was the great lyricist, wrote among the many songs he wrote with his brother and other people was "Let's Call the Whole Thing Off," and they were auditioning for something, and the auditioners were told to come in with a song that he had written, and so this girl comes up and she starts singing. She says, "You say potato when I say potato. You say tomato when I say tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off." And Ira says, "Thank you, Miss Levine." She says, "That's Levine."
That's good.
We were laughing. If there was a time to begin the hard-hitting questions, it was now.
This is a segment that is brand new that we're going to try out. It's called The Big Questions with Bruce.
Yeah.
We do it every time we have a person named Bruce on. So this is the second
I like
time.
Big. I'm sorry.
Yeah, big questions. We forgot to do it when the first time we had a Bruce on, but now we've got it.
Bruce.
I was immediately caught in a lie. Something I thought would come off as a joke, of course, fell flat because it just wasn't funny. I quickly recovered.
Just my buddy.
Benner?
Yeah, we tried.
We tried.
Really
We tried to get
because,
you, Bruce Jenner.
I changed my name from Caitlin to Bruce.
Oh.
Such a weird world. When I transitioned many, many years ago.
So it's like a net balance. There was a
reverse.
+1, -1. It all balances out.
Yeah. So here comes the first
Here it
big
comes.
question.
Oh
Here it
yeah, and
comes.
wait, before you start, Chris, I just want to say, like, Bruce, these are super serious, like really deep, really intense questions. So like, get ready. We're gonna dig deep on these.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm getting deep into it. Yeah.
Who are you currently jealous of?
Oh, that is a big question.
Oh, well, Ava Mendez, because she's fucking Ryan Gosling every night. Had 2 children with him, so maybe not every night. But,
Not every other.
so there's one. You know, she married a hot Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, what do they call? What's the Santa Claus up there? There's another, the Bonhomme something.
Oh.
Bonhomme de Neige. He's not so much Santa Claus as he is a abominable snowman.
Yeah, he's just like a snowman.
He's just like
it's a
this
snowman, okay.
Yeah.
weird. It's more of a Quebec thing than anything.
Yeah. Which are
Because,
Canadians.
I know Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
slightly, and he did a joke about it on SNL some years ago, and I just couldn't remember. There's so many of these Canadian actors on Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
I love Hallmark movies. They're all the
yeah.
same movie. There's a
Oh,
high-powered female executive who goes home to rescue her father's antique shop that he died, and she meets the town vet and falls in love with him. And her choice is, do I go back to this or do I go stay home? And this happens at Christmas. It happens at Easter. It happens around, summer. There's a Halloween. Thanksgiving. Oh, every holiday, one woman has this dilemma, and
they're all just the Christmas Carol
right. As
over
opposed
and
to
just
the Lifetime movie where
yeah.
it's Christmas and she's being stalked by her Iraq war vet husband who has PTSD, or she's fucking the kid in the quarterback of the football team. She teaches English lit at the high school. I mean, they're all the same movie. They blend. There should be one. I'm surprised no one has done like a scary movie, date movie version of Hallmark movie.
Oh.
I remember there was Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig did one, but it wasn't. I started watching it, and it was not a parody at all. It was so serious.
They just made a Hallmark movie?
It opens with like Will Ferrell like chatting about his book with friends, and then Kristen Wiig like looks out and their kid is drowning, and it's just actually sad. And then she loses her baby, I think, and I'm just like, oh.
This is like the Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus movie where they're in the avalanche in Switzerland, and
oh, that's right, and that's a remake.
Runs away and leaves them to die, and then the marriage breaks up, and and you think from the trailers, you think, oh, Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, this is going to be fun,
and then it's just serious.
Going, holy shit, it's Ingmar Bergman.
I love that as a premise. The moment that like you show yourself as a coward to your family, right. And then what's the rest of your life like now if you've left them to die?
Can't take you seriously anymore.
Yeah, that's such a good premise. Yeah,
that kind of made me think of a question that could maybe we can see what you think of this, which is I was thinking about how like that's a Will Ferrell movie, so you go into it and you're like, oh, I'm going to go see a Will Ferrell movie. And then there must be a group of audience members who are disappointed when they get in the movie. They're like, what the hell is this? And so this is my question to you is I think for the most part, like you said with Vietnam, when you tick that box, I think you've always been very true to just who you are. But did you ever feel like you had created for yourself a brand or a type of thing that you needed to stick within? Did you ever feel trapped by like this image? Or is it just straight up, you're like, nope, this is who I've been and I've never wanted to stray outside of it?
It's an interesting question. I mean, I am who I am, and there's no question about that. So I've never been uncomfortable with that. I think other people have. I know that I think I've had limited opportunity as an actor because they look at me and they say, well, he's an icon or he's funny. And you know, they think I will show up with this hair and these glasses and a t-shirt, that I am not willing to do what Matthew McConaughey will do, that I'm not, you know, I mean, that I will be a character if you let me be a character. So I know that that's been inhibiting. And I know that, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, I auditioned once for a David Mamet play. It was a comedy, and Joe Mantello, who was a friend, is directing it. Nathan Lane, who was a friend, and Laurie Metcalf, who's a friend. They were starring in it, and the character I was doing, I was auditioning for, was a kind of a character. He was a very straight kind of Washington type who comes unglued in the course of it. And the director said, you know, you're very funny. He said, the problem is the minute you walk out on stage, they're expecting you to be you. And we can't ask them to make this buy. It's too much.
Right.
It will throw the balance off.
Right.
And I understood. I mean, I got it. There are some people who are just kind of like that, you know, generally, but I get that I'm my own type. Hard to get away from. So I did Hairspray for 2 years, and I was a woman, and it was a whole other thing. And that didn't enter into it. So that was why that was the ideal role for me. And so you know, I look for those kinds of things. I've been offered a few things that I could have done, but the money wasn't right, or the timing wasn't right, but they were all extreme kind of, you know, characters.
It just logged a memory for me. I'm not writing a book, so there's no need for me to tell this story. But I remember sort of the auditioning for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I walked in and I had prepared this David Mamet monologue for so, and it was from
like Gary Glenn Ross.
No, it was from the play Edmund. And it's totally like not appropriate for
really
at all. I was probably like 23, and it's this guy in prison, and he's questioning the guard, like with the existence of God, and I'm auditioning for You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and doing this monologue like, if God fucking exists, you let him come down here and fucking let me out of these shackles right now. Like, so I didn't get the role of Linus.
They said, we're terribly sorry, but the auditions for You're a Mean Motherfucker, Charlie Brown.
And then, so Saturday Night Live, I think, ended up doing like a thing of like David Mamet written You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I was like,
See, great
See?
minds.
Yeah.
Beat him
There's
to
that
it.
psychic bond. Great minds on a single track. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, SNL was started by a Canadian, Lorne Michaels. I've grown very fond of Canadian procedurals, like Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
what's the other one? She's a Private Eye. I can't. It's another period show about a private eye.
Oh, what is that?
Jane, Private Eye. No,
Not Miss Fisher, but can't think of the name of it. But those, and there was a great one actually that was done out in Vancouver called Gideon's.
Gideon's. You ever auditioned for that,
Gideon's
Peter?
something.
Never auditioned for that one.
Oh, it's terrific. I mean, it really is. That's a seriously good, right up there with the British ones.
Are you talking about Private Eyes? I just looked it
Yeah,
up.
Private Eyes. Yeah,
Is that
that's
really?
in Toronto. That's shot in Toronto.
Jason Priestley and
No,
Cindy
that's
Simpson.
Jason Priestley. That's
Mhm.
idiotic. I love Jason. He's an old friend, but that's kind of, it's formulaic is the word.
It's
Of
not to the
course,
same level
yes.
as Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh, a
Well, no, Murdoch
period
Mysteries
piece.
is like it's just 'cause
Sherlock
it's
Holmes.
ridiculous because it all looks like it was shot on the same street on the back lot somewhere.
And it
it's
absolutely
period
was.
Toronto, and
Mhm.
it's they're trying to do Sherlock Holmes and Ragtime and The Alienist and all of these period things at once. The guy's very cute, so and
Yannick Besson.
the other one, The Listener. That guy is gorgeous.
Oh, I
The
got to
Listener.
listen.
I don't know if I've watched The Listener. Well,
He's-
these are the shows that we
he
should be
can
paying
read
attention to.
people's minds, and that's how he solves.
Oh, there's a good one
Ooh.
now
And
that's
you
coming
know
out.
he's reading their minds because the screen goes wavy. Sound gets sound chamberish.
There's
Very
another
cool,
good one
yeah.
you got to look out for called The Surrealist. So
Ooh,
he's
I've heard of that, but I
yes,
haven't seen it. Is it
real
he's a
estate
painter?
agents who are trying to sell houses, but they can't sell the houses because there's ghosts in the houses. So they have to
Oh
like
my
help the
God.
ghosts get out of the house so that they can sell the houses.
Two prongs. It's
Oh.
Ghostbusters meets
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing.
Ghostbusters beat house flipping.
meets House Hunters International.
Yeah.
Bringing up the Surrealists was perfect. A perfect segue to ask about ghosts. But I needed Peter's taste for dirt out of the way. And the best way to do that, help him get it.
Oh, another hard-hitting question coming up.
Yeah.
So this was just from Wikipedia, and I wanted more info.
Oh, wow.
Barbra Streisand offered you a ridiculously low wage to write, and you declined the offer.
That's cool.
How much?
What was the number?
Oh, I don't remember. It was ridiculously low for what he had. I mean,
Yeah.
we never discussed sums, but it was low. I said to her, I said, that's really very low. She said, what should I do? I said, sell a lamp. She just unloaded all of her furniture because she was tearing the house down and building up a house that now has the little mall in the
That's
basement.
right. She's got a mall in her basement of her stuff. Huh.
And I got when they made a movie about me 20 years ago called Get Bruce, produced by
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein, who never laid a hand on me.
Good.
Hashtag why not me? And that story, I told that story in the movie, and she didn't speak to me for about 2 years. She was very pissed off, and she said it wasn't true, and it was true. And I, trotted out people who, I mean, there were agents involved. It wasn't just a conversation. So, and then she was mildly humbled by this and continued not speaking to me for 5 more years.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
And
geez.
then-
Well, she holds a grudge.
Yeah.
We've learned
So I
that.
run into her places, and she would kind of smile and go, hi, and then, find something else to do right away.
Oh, what's over here?
I couldn't even imagine running into Barbra Streisand, but also having a
Well, I
problem
should
with
run
her.
in. It's
Yeah.
on the Oscar show, and I was writing it.
Okay,
That's
right.
writing
Yeah.
it.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't want to get into too much depth about it, but that I would see, and benefits. We both do.
Right.
We're on the same political team, so we would wind up doing various fundraisers where we'd be on the show together.
Yeah.
And
the political team is the far right, is it? Is that your?
yes, that's it. You've got it. Absolutely. We hate tags. We hate abortion. We hate all. Don't cross us. We're the Proud Boys.
I like that. I like that George Takei tried to he reclaimed Proud Boys. Did you see that?
Did he?
No.
So George Takei goes on Instagram and he says to all of my fellow men out there, I think we need to show images of us in loving relationships, like maybe we're kissing or we're like getting married or whatever. It just like shows these two men, and then use the hashtag Proud Boys, because at our heart we are just proud boys.
Right.
And people took to it. They're like, this is the best. So it was all these pictures of loving couples.
Yeah. George and I have played a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
We were in Don't Mess with the Zohan at the end.
That's right. Yeah.
And we have one little scene at the end with Dave Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a pilot, which is not going to get put up, which was kind of like a gay Golden Girls called Silver Foxes.
Yeah.
Can you okay, like maybe we're taking too much of your time, but can I hear about this pilot a little bit? Or is it recent, or is it
was a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago,
yeah.
That sounds like a great idea.
It was, we did a table read. It never got to shooting because it was, I think it was Logo, and they were changing I think they were afraid it was too old. But I mean, it was, listen, that was the argument about the Golden Girls. And
yeah, exactly.
Still watching it 40 years later. It was about a couple in a Palm Springs, in a gated community in Palm Springs. And I was B. Arthur, and he was Betty White, ironic. He was, and we were both retired, and I was a loudmouth, and he was like the voice of sanity and reason. But like not all that bright. And we had, living in our pool house, we had a 40-year-old twink played by an actor named Todd Sherry, who's very funny, who was being taken care of by a sugar daddy who kicked him out because he was too old to be a twink. Mm. And so he was crying his heart out in our pool house. And then we got a call from our friend Leslie Jordan, who was obviously Rue McClanahan. And he was in a senior living place which was being run by far-right extremists.
Oh, jeez.
And so he'd been forced back in the closet. And so we went there and we kidnapped him and brought him back, and he was living with us. And the woman who ran the place, Melissa Peterman, followed us, and she became our ally. It was that kind of thing. And we had two lesbians living next door, Sherry O'Terry, and an actress whose name I can't remember. And one of them, Sherry was like the lipstick lesbian, and her wife was like the tool belt lesbian. And they were both in real estate, and they hated us, but they wanted to buy our house to flip it. And so they kept imposing themselves upon us to try and get us out of the community. And it was a very funny premise. I thought all that, but there was no getting around it. You know, there was no Generation Z in there. You know, none of us had a wise ass teenage daughter or any of that stuff.
Right.
And Logo, I think, decided that. Probably no. I mean, the explanation that I got was vis-a-vis Golden Girls and Silver Foxes. With Golden Girls was look, everybody has a funny old lady in their family. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has a funny gay uncle.
Right.
Right.
I said, look twice. But what are you going to do? If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. So hopefully something will happen with it, and if not, not. And if it happens without me, it happens without me. So,
no way.
Well, no, I won't accept it.
We won't accept it. We won't watch it if you're not in it.
As I say many times, I'm too rich and I have too big a dick to worry about.
And with that dick joke, it was time. Get into the questions that would in turn reveal a hilarious encounter with a ghost, elevating our tiny podcast to new heights that we could be proud of because we were prepared when the opportunity was there. Our Bette Midler moment.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Oh, night. I'm vampire tip.
Mm-hmm.
What time I always was. My mother said I was a nocturnal child. I was up all night, not fussing, but just up. And then she'd have to wake me up during the day to show me to people. And I was pissed off, so she'd give me a cookie, and I would,
Oh, yes. I relate to that, too.
A lot. That was explaining why I was a portly child.
I always had a hard time getting up for school. I'm very much a night person as well. 4 a.m. is usually, that's a good bedtime, I find.
It really is. One of the nice things about show business is you can actually, if you're in the right end of it, you can work those hours. I mean, if you work in theater or nightclubs and stuff, except when you're rehearsing in theater, you have to be up in the morning. But once you're into the run, you don't really have to show up until the afternoon.
Right.
But then if you're working in television or the movies, I mean, those start very early in the morning.
It's the worst part about having any success in that at all is that you have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to sit in a trailer for 5 hours. It's just
you ain't kidding.
Yeah.
I want to add
people have lives. People have separate lives lived in their trailers. It's true.
I want to add a third category to that though, because I kind of feel like I'm not a morning or a night person. I feel like I'm
not a person.
I'm not a person.
Yeah.
Is there an afternoon person?
You're what we call diverse.
No, I just I don't like mornings and I don't like evenings.
This time of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
But you realize when, if you have a power failure, you realize why people never did anything at night. Because once it gets dark, there's nothing to do when it's really dark.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
That's when all the fucking starts, and that's why.
Right. Yeah, I always used to like the phrase when people go, "You're missing the best part of the day," and you go, "Well, you're missing the best part of the night." And you can just drop the mic. Hopefully, you have a mic in your hand that you can drop. It's a beautiful line.
I'll say though that when I have to get up in the morning for something, I do feel ridiculously productive because I've gotten so much more done before.
Nothing feels better.
It feels great, but it's nothing I'd want to do every single day.
God, no.
It's not my nature.
Once a week is good.
Because I like to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, writing and watching things. And
well, I mean, we're coming up on an hour here already. Maybe I'll ask this final hard-hitting question. You don't even have to answer it.
Okay, here we go. Is this gonna be very dramatic? We should end on a good dramatic note.
Okay, good.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Very important.
No.
And there it was. A failure. The question we thought would be the deepest and richest was in fact the shortest answer of them all. Where had our thinking gone wrong? The room started spinning. How could we have been so stupid?
No, I fancied I did, but I didn't really. Because I don't believe in them.
You don't believe? That was the follow-up question.
I don't believe in any of that shit. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in ghosts. I just don't believe in any of that. It's very entertaining. And I think there is a certain kind of telepathic thing that does happen. I mean, I've had that experience where I was in trouble and my mother showed up out of nowhere.
Whoa.
Right. Yeah.
And it was kind of like there was some sort of a psychic bond. I believe that kind of stuff can happen. I don't think that you talk to the dead and seances and all of that, but I do think there's occasionally people can latch on to each other.
Was that
mentally?
It was in your you heard her voice? It was in your head, or?
No. She just happened upon where I was in trouble. I was being beaten up by some kids, and she showed up. She had no reason to be there. I think she just had a feeling something. It was a feeling something was. We've all had premonitions. I think that those things are very real, and of course, dreams are real in the sense that people come and talk to you in your dreams, and if you remember what they say, it's very valuable.
Yeah.
But it's also, people make connections with the dead in their dreams. I believe that that's true, but I think that that's us. I don't think that's the dead coming
in. Yeah.
I think you're making a connection with something that happened in your life with that person. That is I don't know, is doing a number on you, but it's all. The brain is a fascinating thing, and because of course it comes up with all this other bubamais, the language of my other people, the Jews, all this bubamais that makes you think it's coming from some outward source, when in fact it's coming from within.
From within, yeah.
And then it became clear.
Wow, that's a very good question. What a very good question. It's an interesting question. I mean,
We had great questions. We just needed to look past our own Canadian self-deprecation. Maybe if we believed in ourselves from the beginning, we'd be too rich with dicks that are too big to care as well. We were looking somewhere out there for the greatest interview question to get the greatest interview answer. But just like Fievel from American Tail looking somewhere out there for his family, we also needed to look closer. We also needed to look right under our nose. We needed to look within.
we were looking for about. I was going to have a hilarious encounter with a ghost.
He was right. We did.
This time, this time, this time, this time, it's different.
With Peter and Chris.
This time, this time, this time, this time, it's different.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.
Sonar!
Oops, drop the podcast. What if people liked and also subscribed?
I think we're just down here to kill time.